where West Point crouches, and with lifted shield turns the whole river eastward through the pass, whose jutting crags, half silver, stand revealed like bossy bucklers of Leonidas, where buttressed low against the storms that wield their summer lightnings, where her eaglets swarm, by freedom's cradle nature's self has steeled her heart, like Winklereed, and to that storm of levelled lances bears her bosom warm. Aye, but not tonight. The air and woods are still, the faintest rustle in the trees below, the lowest tremor from the mountain rill, come to the ear as but the trailing flow of spirit robes that walk unseen the hill, the moon low sailing o'er the upland farm, the moon low sailing where the waters fill the lozenge lake, beside the banks of balm, gleams like a chevron on the river's army. All space breathes languor, from the hilltop high, where Putnam's bastion crumbles in the past, to swooning depths where drowsy cannon lie and wide-mouthed mortars gape in slumbers vast. Stroke upon stroke, the far oars glance and die on the hushed bosom of the sleeping stream. Bright for one moment drifts a white sail by, bright for one moment shows a bayonet gleam far on the level plain, then passes as a dream. Ivy soft down the line of darkened battlements, bright on each lattice of the barrack walls, where the low arching sally port indents, seen through its gloom beyond, the moonbeam falls. All is repose save where the camping tents mock the white gravestones farther on, where sound no morning guns for reveille, nor whence no drumbeat calls retreat, but still is ever found waiting and present on each sentry's round. For within the camp they lie, the young, the brave, half knight, half schoolboy, acolytes of fame, pledged to one altar, and perchance one grave, bred to fear nothing but reproach and blame, ascetic dandies o'er whom vestals rave, clean-limbed young Spartans, disciplined young elves, taught to destroy, that they may live to save, students embattled, soldiers at their shelves, heroes whose conquests are at first themselves. Vi within the camp they lie, in dreams are freed from the grim discipline they learned to love, in dreams no more the sentry's challenge heed, in dreams afar beyond their pickets rove. One treads once more the piney paths that lead to his green mountain home, and pausing hears the cattle call. One treads the tangled weed of slippery rocks beside Atlantic piers. One smiles in sleep, one wakens wet with tears. Vi and scents the breath of jasmine flowers that twine the pillared porches of his southern home. One hears the coo of pigeons in the pine of western woods where he was wont to roam. One sees the sunset fire the distant line where the long prairie sweeps its levels down. One treads the snow peaks, one by lamps that shine down the broad highways of the sea-girt town, and two are missing, cadets grey and brown. Vi much as I grieve to chronicle the fact, that self-same true and known as Cadet Grey was the young hero of our moral tract, shorn of his twofold names on entrance day. Winthrop and Adams dropped in that one act of martial curtness, and the roll call thinned of his ancestors. He with youthful tact indulgence claimed, since Winthrop no more sinned, nor sainted Adams winced when he, plain grey, was skinned. Ixie had known trials since we saw him last, by sheer good luck had just escaped rejection, not for his learning, but that it was cast in a spare frame scarce fit for drill inspection. But when he oped his lips a stream so vast of information flooded each professor, they quite forgot his eyeglass, something past all precedent, excepting the transgressor, weak eyes and all of which he was possessor. Zine the first day he touched a blackboard's space so the tradition of his glory lingers. Two wise professors fainted, each with face white as the chalk within his rapid fingers. All day he ciphered, at such frantic pace, his form was hid in chalk precipitation of every problem, till they said his case could meet from them no fair examination. Till Congress made a new appropriation. Xi famous in molecules, he demonstrated from the mess hash to many a listening classful. Great as a botanist, he separated three kinds of mentha in one julep's glassful. High in astronomy, it has been stated he was the first at West Point to discover Mars' missing satellites, and calculated their true positions, not the heavens over, but neath the window of Miss Kitty Rover. Zai indeed, I fear this novelty celestial that very night was visible and clear. At least two youths of aspect most terrestrial, and clad in uniform, were loitering near a villa's casement, where a gentle vestal took their impatience somewhat patiently, knowing the youths were somewhat green and bestial. A certain slang of the academy, I beg the reader won't refer to me, Zai, for when they ceased their ardent strain, Miss Kitty glowed not with anger nor a kindred flame, but rather flushed with an odd sort of pity, half matron's kindness, and half coquette's shame, proud yet quite blameful. When she heard their ditty she gave her soul poetical expression, and being clever too, as she was pretty, From her high casement warbled this confession, half provocation and one half repression: "Not yet, not yet, oh friend, not yet." The patient stars lean from their lattices, content to wait all as illusion till the morning bars slip from the levels of the eastern gate. Night is too young, oh friend. Day is too near, wait for the day that maketh all things clear. Not yet, oh friend, not yet, oh love, not yet. All is not true, all is not ever as it seemeth now. Soon shall the river take another blue, soon dies yon light upon the mountain brow. What leaf dark, oh love, bright day will fill, wait for thy morning, be it good or ill. Not yet, oh love, not yet. Zythe's strain was finished, softly as the night her voice died from the window, yet e'en then fluttered and fell likewise a kerchief white, but that no doubt was accident, for when she sought her couch she deemed her conduct quite beyond the reach of scandalous commenter, washing her hands of either gallant white, knowing the moralist might compliment her, thus voicing siren with the words of mentor. XV She little knew the youths below, who straight dived for her kerchief, and quite overlooked the pregnant moral she would inculcate, nor dreamed the less how little Winthrop brooked her right to doubt his soul's maturer state. Brown, who was western, amiable, and knew might take the moral and accept his fate, the which he did, but, being stronger too, took the white kerchief, also, as his duty. For they did not quarrel, which no doubt seemed queer to those who knew not how their friendship blended. Each was opposed, and each the other's peer, yet each the other in some things transcended. Where Brown lacked culture, brains, and oft, I fear, cash in his pocket, Grey of course supplied him. Where Grey lacked frankness, force, and faith sincere, Brown of his manhood suffered none to chide him, but in his faults stood manfully beside him. In academic walks and studies grave, in the camp drill and martial occupation, they helped each other. But just here I crave space for the reader's full imagination. The fact is patent, Grey became a slave, a tool, a fag, a pleb. To state it plainer, all that blue blood and ancestry e'er gave, cleaned guns, brought water, was, in fact, retainer to Jones, whose uncle was a paper stainer. How they bore this at home I cannot say, I only know so runs the gossip's tale. It chanced one day that the paternal Grey came to West Point that he himself might hail the future hero in some proper way consistent with his lineage. With him came a judge, a poet, and a brave array of aunts and uncles, bearing each a name, eyeglass and respirator with the same. 19 Observe, quoth Grey the elder to his friends, not in these giddy youths at baseball playing you'll notice Winthrop Adams. Greater ends than these absorb his leisure. No doubt straying with Caesar's commentaries, he attends some Roman council. Let us ask, however, yon grimy urchin, who my soul offends by wheeling offal, if he will endeavor to find what? Heaven. Winthrop. Oh. No. Never. XX Alas. Too true. The last of all the Greys was doing police detail. It had come to this. In vain the rare historic bays that crowned the pictured Puritans at home, and yet was certain that in grosser ways of health and physique he was quite improving. Straighter he stood, and had achieved some praise in other exercise, much more behooving a soldier's taste than merely dirt removing. But to resume, we left the youthful pair, some stanzas back, before a lady's bower. 'Tis to be hoped they were no longer there, for stars were pointing to the morning hour. Their escapade discovered, ilt would fare with our two heroes, derelict of orders, but, like the ghost, they scent the morning air, and back again they steal across the borders, unseen, unheeded, by their martial warders. Shy they got to bed with speed. Young Grey to dream of some vague future with a general's star, and Mistress Kitty basking in its gleam, while Brown, content to worship her afar, dreamed himself dying by some lonely stream, having snatched Kitty from 18 Nez purses, till a far bugle, with the morning beam, in his dull ear its fateful song rehearses, which Winthrop Adams after put to verses. So past 3 years of their novitiate, the first real boyhood Grey had ever known. His youth ran clear, not choked like his coadjutorate, in civic pipes, but free and pure alone, yet knew repression, could himself habituate to having mind and body well rubbed down, could read himself in others, and could situate themselves in him. Except, I grieve to own, he couldn't see what Kitty saw in Brown's XV. At last came graduation. Brown received in the 100th Cavalry Commission, then frolic, flirting, parting, when none grieved save Brown, who loved our young academician, and Grey, who felt his friend was still deceived by Mistress Kitty, who with other beauties graced the occasion, and it was believed had promised Brown that when he could recruit his promised command, she'd share with him those duties. How this was I know not, all I know. The night was June's, the moon rode high and clear. 'Twas such a night as this, 3 years ago, Miss Kitty sang the song that two might hear. There is a walk where trees o'erarching grow, too wide for one, not wide enough for three, a fact precluding any plural beau, which quite explained Miss Kitty's company, but not why grey that favoured one should be. There is a spring, whose limpid waters hide somewhere within the shadows of that path called Kosciuszko's. There two figures bide, Grey and Miss Kitty. Surely nature hath no fairer mirror for a might-be bride than this same pool that caught our gentle belle to its dark heart one moment. At her side Grey bent. A something trembled o'er the well, bright, spherical 8-ear. No. A button felt 27. Material minds might think that gravitation, quoth Grey, drew yon metallic spheroid down. The soul poetic views the situation fraught with more meaning. When thy girlish crown was mirrored there was disintegration of me, and all my spirit moved to you, taking the form of slow precipitation. But here came taps, a start, a smile, a dew, a blush, a sigh, an end of Canto 2. Bugle song fades the light, and a far goeth day, cometh night, and a star leadeth all, speedeth all to their rest. Love, good night must thou go when the day and the light need thee so, needeth all, heedeth all, that is best?